In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to set up the sales tax configuration, which is used by BizWizard Order Manager to calculate sales tax on orders. Let's get started.
First, click on the Configuration menu at the top.
Then click on System Setup.
Click on the Sales Tax Setup tab.
On the left side of the window, there are two buttons. One button is Add New, which creates a new sales tax setup from scratch. The other button is Add New using Current as Template, which creates a new sales tax setup using the currently selected sales tax setup record as a starting point. We'll discuss this more later in this tutorial.
In our example here, we do not have a sales tax setup created. Thus, we will click on Add New.
Each sales tax setup is date and time stamped with an effective date and time which indicates when the sales tax configuration becomes effective. This allows you to enter sales tax changes that may occur in the future well before the sales tax change goes into effect.
BizWizard Order Manager compares the date and time an order is taken against the effective date and time of the sales tax setup to determine which sales tax configuration to use for calculation of the sales tax on an order. It's important to understand that once a sales tax setup is created, it cannot be edited nor deleted for historical and audit trail purposes.
Order Manager allows for up to 4 columns, thus splitting a sales tax percentage into breakdown percentages. Start by entering the column titles, which describe which percentages are applicable to state, county, and city tax. For our example, the 4th column will remain blank.
Next, enter each starting and ending postal code range, along with the percentages for each column as shown here. Example, if the percentage is 4.875%, then enter 4.875. Do not enter as 0.04875, and do not enter a percent sign.
In our example, we'll use the State of Nevada postal codes and sales tax percentages. It's important that you do not enter sales tax postal codes that are duplicate across sales tax detail records. Each postal code within your state should fit into only one postal code range.
Please be patient as we finish entering the sales tax setup.
As you can see here, Carson County has a state sales tax of 4.875%, a county sales tax of 1.5%, and for the postal codes between 89711 and 89714 has a city tax of 0.75%. Notice that postal code 89713 fits between 89711 and 89714. Thus, the total sales tax for postal code 89713 is the total of all 3 columns, or 7.125%.
The total of all 3 breakdowns will be used when calculating sales tax for an order. However, on your sales tax summarization report, it will be broken down into the various state, county and city percentages and amounts.
Sales tax is always calculated based upon point of delivery. Thus, if the order is delivered or shipped, the shipping postal code or delivery postal code is used to calculate the sales tax rate. If the order is being picked up at your store, then your store's postal code will be used to calculate sales tax, since your store will be the point of delivery.
The order's billing postal code is never used for calculation of sales tax.
This type of sales tax setup seems complicated. However, if your state requires you to report sales tax by which county and city you shipped or delivered products to, then this complexity is required to support your state sales tax requirements. The different columns are only needed if your state sales tax reporting rules require you to split up the transactions by state, county, and city.
What we have just demonstrated was creating a complex sales tax setup, whereby your state requires you to collect different sales tax rates based upon delivery of tangible personal property. Let's take a look at a simple sales tax setup, which can be used if your state only requires you to collect sales tax for your physical store location.
In the first column, enter the column title of sales tax. Since your state does not require reporting based upon where you deliver goods, we do not need to split it into breakdowns for state, county, and city tax.
Enter the starting and ending postal code for your state. Then enter the percentage as a single figure in column 1.
Click on Done to complete the entry of the sales tax setup.
In the future, if we need to make a modification to the sales tax setup, we can use the Add New Using Current as Template button, which will create a new sales tax setup with a new effective date, and will copy all the sales tax records from the sales tax configuration that was selected to create a starting point for the new sales tax setup.
BizWizard Order Manager provides 2 sales tax reporting methods. The default reporting method, when invoice is billed, is the recommended method, as this method is required by most states to stay compliant with state sales tax filing requirements.
The reporting method reports sales tax on your sales tax summarization report when an order is invoiced, even if payment for the invoice has not been received.
This is because most states consider that a sales taxable event occurs when tangible personal property exchanges hands from your company to the customer, even if there is still a balance due on the customer's account or invoice for the products that were transferred into the customer's possession.
This transfer of tangible personal property occurs when the order is completed and direct billed, or when the customer picks up the order and pays the balance due on the order.
If an order is direct billed, also known as invoiced, then the balance due on the order is simply transferred to an invoice as a receivable. Most state sales tax rules indicate that having a receivable does not prevent the liability of paying sales tax.
The second method is to report sales tax only when invoice balance is 0. The second method should only be used if your state's filing requirements indicate that a taxable event occurs after the invoice is paid.
If your state requires you to collect sales tax on shipping charges, be sure to checkmark the Shipping Subject to Sales Tax checkbox.
You may also provide up to 6 sales tax exemption reasons to be used. For most stores, the default exemption reasons defined should be sufficient. The 7th exemption reason cannot be modified, as this exemption reason named out-of-tax nexus is where all out-of-state, also described as out-of-tax nexus, for which you must collect sales tax, is recorded and is automatically categorized if needed by BizWizard Order Manager.
After you've completed your sales tax setup, click Done.
As a good rule of thumb, always consult your state or province sales tax board or your CPA for rules regarding sales tax laws in your state or province. NetSoft Studio does not provide any sales tax advice, and this video is not intended to provide sales tax advice. Rather, simply an explanation of how BizWizard Order Manager handles sales tax and how to enter the sales tax setup.
This concludes this tutorial.